Good evening, welcome to my channel. I'm very pleased to say I have a new short story for you. But first, just to remind you, I am looking for other writers to join this channel. I want to hear your 1,000-word stories based on 5 random words which I will send you. To find out more, there's a video called the 5 Random Word Story Challenge, which I think is the one preceding this one. So watch that, it's 3 minutes long, it'll tell you how to enter, and then you can take part in this remarkable challenge, and hopefully we'll grow the channel, make it a proper big YouTube channel. You never know, it could happen. Anyway, for those of you who are loyal and do watch my stories and do enjoy them, as usual, feel free to comment, share, like, all those lovely things. This is story number 116, and it's called, oh sorry, wait a minute, the 5 random words it's based upon are, and it's called Therapy. It's a weirdly depressing experience watching the Ashes on an obsolete television tuned into the only channel we can still get, sitting in an empty room containing only the aforementioned TV, tilted up on half a brick to face the partially collapsed settee. We stopped the cable service, and the old aerial on the roof only seems to pick up BBC Two. So while I wait for Jennifer to come back, I'm drinking a milkshake and watching cricket, a game I have little or no interest in. I'm aware that the Ashes is a major event in the cricket pantheon, and that it goes on for days, but I can't even be bothered getting my phone out to Google it. I'm 43 years old, I think, and this is my life. At least there's a bloopers show full of cricketers slipping on wet grass, pigeons landing on the stumps, and streakers being pursued by hirsutely sideburned police officers somewhere in the 1970s. It's diverting enough, just. I slurp down the remains of the chocolate shake and look around the room, our living room, with its sleek diagonal of floating wooden beams forming a staircase to the upper floor. With the naked eye, I can see how badly the house has subsided, quite aside from the jagged crack which extends from the top of the lounge's rear wall to its base, with tiny tributary cracks spreading out from it like an aerial photograph of a mighty river. You can see slivers of grey daylight in places behind the plastic sheeting. Neighbours told us we should move out months ago, but we persisted, hoping against hope that our solicitor, surveyor and architect would find a way out. It wasn't to be. I don't quite understand the legalities, but it seems there were significant irregularities in our initial surveys, which invalidated our insurance policy. We managed to negotiate a mortgage payment holiday until we could sell the place, but of course nobody would buy. Fortunately, we own the freehold, so we'll get something for the plot and reclaimed materials eventually. Jennifer is still at work, and I've spent my afternoon packing away the last few items: 2 suitcases of clothes, a box of kitchen appliances, crockery, cutlery and tinned food, the kettle, some bedding. It's been a sombre sort of day, and I've been looking forward to hearing Jennifer's Audi crunching over the gravel outside. We've only been married for 4 years, although we had dated for 5 before that, and it took 15 months to design and build our dream home. It's not grandiose, just 2 bedrooms and a small garden backing onto a wood, through which flows a small stream. A watercourse which, apparently, meandered around 18 months ago and surreptitiously undermined our foundations until cracks began to appear. I'd only just managed to get my freelance graphic design business up and running, and Jenny had just settled into the local primary school, finally announcing last week that she'd managed to learn every kid's name as well as the names of their siblings and parents. We'd just been accepted into the community, and now we have to move. There are no vacant properties in Lower Kensworth, which is why we had to build our own, incorporating the remnants of a 17th century barn, and all clad in strictly mandated Cotswold stone. That's the only upside, really. The yellow sandstone is in such rare supply that our builder has offered to buy it back from us for a third of what we paid. Anyway, I don't want to complain. These things happen. Dreams sour. Disasters occur. People cope. Jenny is bearing up remarkably well, still not exhibiting any of the crippling anxiety which drove us to move out of London. It's me who's slipping beneath the black cloud, as I name my once banished depression, now threatening to return with renewed virulence. There. My miserable spiral of negativity is interrupted by the sound I've been longing for, the crunch of gravel chips under tyres. I flick off the TV. We'll leave it and the ruined sofa for the wrecking crew who'll come to condemn our dream home. I pick up my glass and walk through to the adjoining kitchen to wash it. Jenny's keys turn in the front door and she practically bounces in, holding out, of all things, a red diamond patterned tie, one I thought I'd lost, the one I once wore to meet our mortgage broker. "Hey love," she announces, strangely ebullient for a woman standing in the shattered remnants of her home. "Look what I found." I dry my hands and upend the glass on the drying rack by the sink, then go to give my wife a bear hug. I hope she can't see the moisture at the corners of my eyes. I weep so easily these days. It's pathetic, really. "Where did you find it?" "Oh, tucked right under the passenger seat. I dropped my iPhone and found them both at the same time." I pull away, surreptitiously dabbing my eyes and kissing my lovely flame-haired Jenny, the only person whose presence has made this sorry saga manageable. I'll wear it when we go to meet our landlords in Cirencester. We're moving to the cheapest flat we can find in the nearest decent-sized town. We'll lick our wounds, tot up what limited resources we have, and take it from there. My brother has offered to take us indefinitely, but Colin and Jacinta have 3 kids, and we'll be sleeping on the sofa bed in the lounge. We gratefully accepted, but plan to be out within a fortnight. "I guess so," Jenny sighed. "Listen, I have a surprise for you, but I'm going to have to blindfold you. Turn around." I do as I'm told. I've long learned that that's the right strategy to adopt with my wife. She's almost 12 years my junior, but way more proactive and sensible. And I could do with a surprise, assuming it's a nice one, which, judging by Jenny's mischievous expression, seems a given. I feel the tie slide down over my eyes, and Jenny knots it behind my head. All is darkness and a whiff of old cologne. Jenny gently prods the middle of my back and leads me through the living room, down the hall and out the front door. She warns me when door jambs and steps are coming up, but she hardly needs to. I measured out these spaces with my own hands and feet, after all. Gravel crunches under my Converses. I instinctively reach out with both hands, and my fingers encounter the still warm but damp metal side of the Audi. It's raining lightly. Spritzing, Jenny calls it. "That's right, just you stand there." There's a bleep and I hear the servo-assisted whoosh of Jenny's car boot opening. Then she grabs my elbow and leads me again, facing me towards the car's rear. "Watch your head," she warns, slipping off the blindfold. I look down, ducking under the rear door. Drizzle moistens the back of my neck. There, in the otherwise empty hatchback boot, is a large, rather dusty sledgehammer. "What's that?" I say dumbly. Jenny's grinning conspiratorially. "That, my love, is therapy." Moments later, we're back indoors, and I'm holding the massive, weighty hammer in both hands, facing the wall between kitchen and lounge, not quite believing what Jenny's suggesting. "Are you kidding?" I protest, but half-heartedly. "They're going to level the place anyway. What harm could it do?" "What if I hit a pipe or something?" "You won't. They don't put plumbing in the adjoining walls. Come on, it's only plaster." The sledgehammer must weigh 5 kilos at least. I pull it back, like a cricketer awaiting a googly, or something of that ilk. "Are you sure about this?" I asked Jenny. "We could just come back next week and watch the pros do it." "Do you want to?" she asks, with a look of concern. Again my eyes begin to prickle. I answer her with the first strike. The hammer crunches through plasterboard and brickwork. The second swing goes straight through, creating a melon-sized hole through which I can see the gaps under the countertop where we pulled out the white goods. "Awesome! Give me a go," Jenny demands. Despite her slight 5'4" frame, Jenny makes light work of her section of the wall, creating a hole to rival my own. She slumps satisfied down onto the sofa, wincing slightly at one of the broken springs. "Now the exterior wall," she commands, pointing to the expanse under the sheeting. I rip down some of the plastic, exposing the Radiant Daisy Dulux paintwork. The first blow makes the wall shudder, but leaves only a dent. I throw off my jumper and stand in just my paint-splattered Zeppelin t-shirt. 2 more blows and cracks appear in the plaster. "Put your back into it," Jenny yells from the sofa. I turn, a grin on my face now. Perspiration smears my back and brow. Crump! Crash! 2 more large collisions, accompanied by grunts, and something gives. There's a stony tinkle from outside. Cotswold stone cladding falling from the brickwork hidden underneath. 2 more blows and the wall is definitely giving way, but I worry. Some of the new cracks are in danger of joining up with the big one. Come on, hammer of the gods, don't you want a souvenir? Indeed I do. I give our shattered sidewall 4 massive assaults in a row, and there's an explosion of brick dust. Bricks clatter over one another and fall away into the garden. I look through the hole in time to see a vintage Bugatti crest the road at the end of the lawn. I swear the driver looks frightened as he accelerates out of sight. 5 minutes later, the sledgehammer is embedded in our crappy old television, which I'm pleased to report exploded in a satisfying shower of glass. Good old cathode ray tubes. What about the hammer? I ask. Jenny shrugs. Jack said just leave it. They'll pick it up next week. We're sitting in the Audi with the engine running, sweaty, exhausted, and feeling like a couple of outlaws. We take a final look at our broken home with its head-sized hole and crack in the side wall. Before we drive away, Jenny adds something to the dashboard. A kind of ornament, or talisman, or souvenir. A piece of vanilla yellow Cotswold stone. A fragment of our dreams. Thank you. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little story. It was fun to write and imagine. Yeah, I think it's a good one. It'd be interesting. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you like that more or less than some of the other stories. I don't get a lot of comments, and it'd be nice to hear back from you. So if you enjoyed it, let me know. And even share it possibly with a friend. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? And anyway, I will be back possibly with another how-to video or something useful or interesting very soon. Goodbye.